ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good day, I should say, from down under Brisbane, Australia. Welcome to David Nair on Air. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand this particular event is being broadcasted across the globe in some countries like India, South Africa, UAE, Canada, USA, Europe, and Southeast Asia. Welcome each of you audiences to the show. We conduct this regularly to bring to you the best of the best in different industries. I'm starting a new series, particularly in the event of debates that I would like to conduct with entrepreneurs and wealth accumulators. This particular event, we have two key players, one from India, the other from the US, from two different industries. I'd like to introduce you to Ranganathan from India, who is an actor, a stage performer, a business entrepreneur, runs his own family business, has traveled the globe. Mr. Ranganathan.
Very happy evening, and thank you, David.
So much.
Yeah, I allow you to continue, and I'll join again.
Yeah, we will come back shortly. Thank you, Ranga. And at the same time, I would like to introduce Kim, which you would have heard Kim a couple of sessions ago, all the way from the US, Texas. Kim is a Vietnamese boat refugee. So there's going to be a very good contrast in our discussion today. How could a boat refugee, with all the pain, today run an enterprising dentistry clinic in Texas? And we'll be talking about that shortly. Welcome aboard, Kim.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And nice to meet you, Mr. Ranga.
Nice to meet you, Kim. And it's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
Right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Just to set the scene in place, we're going to just touch on a few topics that I'd like for you to open up and be very open and transparent in your answers or questions, and at the same time don't feel shy to intervene with whoever is talking if you want to make a point or take up from the point we're discussing and move forward with it. Okay, thank you, Ranga, and thank you, Kim. Let me just start off with you, Kim. Why don't you very quickly, briefly, in a couple of minutes, just share your story and how you got to America and what made you get into the business of dentistry.
Thank you for this opportunity. Let me start by going back. I just turned 50 in October. So going back when I was 9 years old, my dad, in short, was imprisoned in concentration camp in the communist Vietnamese. He escaped. We masterminded a boat trip to find freedom. So from Vietnam, we traveled to Malaysia, Philippines, where the refugee camps were there, and we were sponsored over to the USA because I had an uncle here in Houston, Texas. He sponsored us, and we just really worked. We had an end goal in mind for a better life, freedom, and really fighting for our life. And we just really worked hard and had that end goal in mind, and we wanted to be successful. And the main factor that made everything worked out was that my parents sacrificed everything for me to have a better life. So as a child, as a daughter, I have that obligation to be successful, either wealth-wise, education, and just repay the debt that my parents has given me.
Fabulous, great. I know it's a lot of us take life for granted, and here you had to go through a struggle. I love the way you say boat trip. It wasn't a boat trip when you had pirates in the South China Sea coming down on you and your parents. And how many of you were in the boat? 25, 35?
I think 30, 40 people.
And the trip from Vietnam to East Coast of Malaysia?
Yes, the big boat trip lasted for 3-4 days, 3 nights, 4 days, and it was really not as glamorized as I'm putting it right now. But as I was going through it at the time, over 40 years ago, I was just a little child. So it was an adventure for me. But when I look back and try to process things, and it just looked like, oh my goodness, I was on the brink of death and I didn't realize it.
It looks like a straight out of a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
Here's an opportunity for a movie director, Ranganathan, to take that and make it.
You know what? It's so funny you brought that up, because I can write, move a movie out of my life, my dad's life. And it's just like, my dad's life is like Rambo. I don't know, you heard of Sylvester
Really?
Stallone,
Yeah,
Rambo.
absolutely. I can visualize.
So
that.
it was exactly like that, the way it was scripted for my dad. But for me, it was through a child's lens, through the child's eye. So it was more an adventure for me. And it was scary, but it was fun, because I'm like, oh, what are we doing here?
Hey, listen, don't be thinking that we're going to let this pass, because I am serious. We could put a movie together.
You write your story and we do the movie.
Oh,
yes, we're going to be the director, and I got to get a shot of this, okay?
Absolutely, that is so fun. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. Yeah, it will be interesting, and with the guns and all that stuff your father did, that will be really interesting.
Ranga, the best part of the story is I remember this young kid, I think you were 5 or something, and you went out and your mom took some food for your dad, and you were hopping out to the communists who were there with guns, and you were turning around and saying, what are you doing with my dad's food?
Oh my God.
Absolutely. You brought up a great point. As a child, there was no fear. I had no fear. And
right.
I look back now through life, the things that usually hold me back or hold people back is the fear. And at that time, at 5 years old, my mom made a trip to visit my dad in concentration camp, where she brought food, and we weren't allowed to see him. But I ventured off, and I got caught by several guards with guns, and said, "What are you doing here? This is a restricted area." And I just made up a story. Oh, I need a pee in the bushes. I waited for him to go, and then I run in and I find my dad. And it was a very sad scene, because it was food, but they were cutting up all his food. My mom would bring rice cakes, and they would cut it up. The reason is I didn't know at the time is they were trying to look for stuff that my mom would smuggle to my dad, like gold or whatever, anything to in the food.
Well, I'm going to be soon in Texas by March or April, so we can sit and collaborate and do the script for your movie, and we can do that. You're in Houston,
wonderful.
Is it?
We can do that. So I'm in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So do that.
We'll do that. Definitely, we'll do that. Anyways, now that we are connected, distance is not a thing at all today, because we are all connected very well, so we can do that together. But nice to know you this way, and I've got a good something that's coming up for a good story for a movie. Yeah, we'll do that. I know.
Fabulous. See what happens when you collaborate with people across the globe, hey?
Definitely networking. Definitely.
Yes, for sure. Moving on from Kim, Ranga, can I get you to unfold your story, please, and where you came through and how you kickstarted your family business, I should say.
Okay. I can't take credit for the family business that we are running. I singly cannot take credit. It's a family business, definitely. And our father, like what Kim said, he was moving across the globe. He was there, not the globe, but he was in the Middle East for a few years, and then he didn't like the lifestyle there, and then he worked in the movie field also. He has paid some the famous actors of Hindi movies. He has paid their salaries and all that. And but he put everything away, and he came back to Mumbai, and then he started the store that we have right now on the railway station in Mumbai, in Matunga. There is a famous railway station called Matunga. So he started the store on a railway platform, and just outside the railway station also he had a small we call it the push cart. What do you call that, David? there's a push
A
cart.
trolley, like a cart.
A cart, like
trolley
with,
cart.
with all the items. So it was a push cart, and on that, in Hindi we call it bakda. So he had a bakda, and he, all these things I know it because I was not even there in the scheme of things. I was not even born then. But he started the business along with my mother, and we were all born in a, like a 200, 300 square feet home in Mumbai in a chawl. But he had just one dream, like he had a purpose before everything. Our father said, he wanted a very sacred book to be given to somebody in Mumbai, but he couldn't find that book. So when he moved around, he couldn't find the book. He said, "Why not I source it and give it to the people?" And that's how the whole thing started. And from there, it has grown to whatever it is today. We have 30 stores across India, and one in the US, Australia, and all over the place. Thanks to all the people who are contributing, who have contributed, who continue to contribute, because but for them, we would not be there where we are. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, fabulous. It's amazing how a small idea might be small, but we don't know the magnitude to which it is taken from there.
Right.
He just wanted to source out one book for a person. Then he said, why don't I source out multitudes of books for multitudes of people? And that was the formation of Giri Trading, basically.
Yeah, and there are several stories. Like my elder sister and my elder brothers. They have gone through. We have got something called what we call baskets, right? Like tokeries in Bombay. It's called tokeries, and they've hopped from bus to bus and gone door to door and sold the books during their younger days when they were just about 8 or 10. Okay, so all those, they've gone through a lot of struggles. Not me so much, but yes, we run this as a family business. Every frequently we have meetings, and we've grown from our own, our one of our gurus, our Mahatria says, your own past looks like somebody else's past. So change is real change is something when your own past looks like somebody else's past. So definitely there are a lot of changes that have happened in the family, in the business, everything. So all we attribute it to God. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Foundations of starting a business, your core values originated from those platforms. Would you like to just share about the core values that were passed on to you, Ranga, and how it started off evolving into not just Giri Trading, but the other businesses that you currently run?
Right. Yeah. So basically, what if you have to put it in one word? Our main motto has been always service first. So how we can put ourselves in the shoes of our customers, or how we can think from their angle and provide them. We've always looked at service first. So we've got a set of values, and we have made it as a tune also. And in our prayer, our family prayer has become our organization prayer. So it is in Malayalam. It's in the local language, in Malayalam. Of course, David speaks a little bit of Malayalam also. Enda mone adokke mole mone akare. So our our father and mother, they hail from Kerala, but their their roots are from Tamil Nadu, Kumbakonam. But we all were born in Bombay. Now we are in Tamil Nadu, so we are just one. We went one complete circle there. So basically, our family prayer is our prayer. So we have a set of values there. And when it comes to customer front, and when it comes to building the business, first is service, how we can serve our customers better. So that's been our core value of the business, I should say, David.
Great. And Kim, what about you? parents passing on their values through to you and got you to crystallize on a career?
Yes, before I go on to my core values, I would like to add on to Ranka's comments in regards to your path looks like other people's past or path. It's so true, because I've learned through maybe the past 15 years through my spiritual journey and my life journey that we are all just one. We come from source, we come from one, and when you start seeing your life in another person, or when you start seeing yourself in another person, that means that you're connected with source. And with prayers as well, we are big in prayers, because there's always that universe that's always bigger than any one of us, and
True.
that's the source. So I totally resonated with you, what you just said, and I appreciate you bringing that out, because I guess my interest has always been spiritual growth, and I've been on this spiritual journey. So in regards to the core values that my parents have passed on to me, is that really trust and respect. In the dentistry world, there's a fear of pain. There's a fear of going to the dentist. So for me, I have to develop that trust. I have to develop that respect for my clients, so then I can offer my services. And Franca, what you brought up, your main core was service, and that is just right on for a business sense, because as we go through life gets better when you keep asking yourself, what can I do to serve?
Right.
And that's when I find my purpose, at the moment, when I ask that question, what can I do to serve?
Right.
Yeah.
And what? Sorry, Garan.
I just wanted to add one more thing. Thanks, Kim. That was really wonderful. And the world leader, one of the world leaders, we have Jim Donnan. He says servant leadership. If you can be, as a servant, if you can do service, if you can help people, if you can understand other. There is a beautiful Hindi poem or Gujarati poem written by Narsim Mehta, and there is another shloka. I would like to say both in Sanskrit also, and I'll tell the meaning also very quickly. So he says, Vaishnav jan to tene kahiye je peed paraye jaane re. So what it means is he who is called as God's true son, is the person who understands the pain of others. So he is the true son of God or daughter of God. And the other one is Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha, Paropakaraya vahanti nadyah, Paropakaraya duhanti gavah, Paropakararthamidam shariram. Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha. The trees bloom, just out of wanting to give. Paropakara means serving for others, giving for others. Paropakaraya phalanti vriksha. Paropakaraya vahanti nadyah. The rivers flow because of paropakara. They want to just give. They are not expecting anything in return. The leaves, the trees, the rivers, the cow, the duhanti gavaha. Cow also gives milk without any expectation. So how we can, there is another person called Beverly Sally who says, give until it hurts as much as, and still give. If you don't have anything else to give, still give. So if you can give. And there is another person called Skip Ross, I can't get these people out of my system because there's so much there inside. And he says, give and you shall receive. Only when you give, the more you will receive. So it's never the other way around. Only when you invest, you get it back.
How true, how true. On stage, I recall one of the key speakers was talking about signs of a leader. You give and give and give. And then the question was asked, and what else? You still keep giving and giving and giving and giving until you can give no more. Then what do? You give.
True.
Very true.
Very powerful.
Until you can squeeze the lemon dry. Good. Good. Hey guys, moving on from that foundation, now we have taken you into your business. How do you bring that into reality? Meaning, out here, there's a cutthroat world. How can we actually do everything that we want based on our values and still be aligned to what the world is asking for?
Start with Kim?
Yes, we can start with that. I like to maybe have a little correction in is a cutthroat world out there. I feel that the universe is very friendly. I feel that it's there to provide for me. And I with my dentistry, that the most important is location. So location, location, location. When you find a business, you got to find a location. And to me, I felt that, the right clientele will find me. It's like I send out that energy that I would like to see these types of clients. I would like to serve these types of clients. And that energy just comes back and they come. And it's surprisingly, I find my own niche. There's, to me, business is a lot better when I just work on myself and my core values: trust, respect, and service. And the right people will come, and with the location, and you just show them that trust and respect, they will bring the whole family with them. So in short, to me, I feel that the universe is very, very supportive. The world is very supportive. And if I put out that energy, that same energy comes back to me. And it makes it a little bit easier for the journey.
Right. And so basically, if you are aligned to what your core values are, you draw that to you.
Definitely. Yes.
Fabulous. Ranga.
Yeah. So Matri always says, you're like a magnet. You're a biomagnet. You attract what you are, or rather, like we in fact, even in English, there's a saying, tell me your friend, I'll tell who you are. So
yes,
birds of feather flock together. So we attract people like what we are, or what we are inside. And that's what we keep attracting. Like David, you have said it quite often. So it's basically how what we feel inside, and like what Kim also said, the universe is so supportive. Like when you feel something from inside, and you've taught us affirmations also. So how we can affirm and pull the people. And see, basically the inner feeling is the most important thing. And once when you, and that's what we call meditation also, and that's what we call like the prarthana, the prayer. So it's like the prayer, it's like meditation, it's like what you wish for. And even all the seers and the management gurus and so many people have said that, like whatever the mind can conceive of it, like it should achieve. So like Napoleon Hill and yes. Again, like in Tamil also, there are two famous sayings which I keep quoting, and so many people who have quoted it. Manam pol mangalyam. Like if you say whatever you thought, you think, that's the type of husband you will get, or a wife you will get.
Yeah.
And yennam pol vaazhu, whatever your thoughts are, that's how your life will be for you. So it's all a true reflection of what we think from within.
Right. How did you now look at the business structure, so to speak? Now, you have not spoken about your other dimensions that you work with, Ranga. So how did you diversify into those from where you were with Giri?
Nice question, David. Thank you.
Because
So,
they're completely different, right?
yeah, I know. Yeah, no, like, yeah. So one is, like very religious and traditional. So our Giri business, like you can see in my name, I put Giri and Surang. So Giri is, very traditional, culturally oriented, and anything for a temple of Indian this thing. So we have everything. We house everything from a small camphor to a complete consecration of a temple. So we've been actually, in US we have also start building a temple for in Michigan for a person there who's already built a temple there. So we've been doing that. So Surang is completely different. It's on the media business. We are into advertisements, and like I've been always passionate about media. So when I was about like even in school, I used to participate in a lot of plays and music and drama and all that stuff. So that was my passion, and that got me slowly into radio, RJ, and then my brother started an FM radio, so I was the RJ for that, and then I got into television and started doing the news thing. So when I was like Surang stands for my wife Sushma and Ranganathan, so that is Surang. Okay. So when I was getting married to Sushma, like I was hardly anything. I was nothing, and then I had to build up the whole thing. So I went and asked my father. So he was very kind enough to loan me some money and get the studio thing going, and that's how we started the studio business. And by God's grace, like we've run 20 more than 20 years of studio business, and I personally have voiced out for more than 25,000 advertisements in various languages like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, and a few other languages as well. But the main reason I attribute to is why I was able to do this was because of my association with the Sanskrit as a language in school. When I studied for about 5 years Sanskrit as a second language, and there's so much that you can understand about life, about the world, about so many things with this one language called Sanskrit, and it has helped me in my career in doing several things. Like I can go on and on, but I would keep it short. So
Sure.
that's
Thank you.
Yeah.
The transformation in relation to thinking, where you were, and the breakthrough to get to the step up.
Right.
Was there a lot of pain?
Yeah. Well, I can't really. Like it was not easy. Definitely, I wouldn't call it as a pain, but it was not easy. It just didn't happen when I went just to my father and asked me, to fund for the whole project. It didn't happen just like that. Okay, I'm giving you the money. No, it didn't happen. Like we had several discussions, several debates, several fights. Like even today in our organization between the brothers and sisters, it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. Every Monday we sit together and like I hold their hair and they hold mine, and it's like a. But
Like
again, that's the fun of life and that's the fun of business. So my what we keep saying in our family is like it's a package deal. It's not everything is not rosy. It happens, and every now and then we keep, you got to come to some of our meetings and you'll know what Kurukshetra is all about. We laugh it off afterwards, but at that time, like the aggressiveness is something, and I get pained and they get pained, and the way I talk and some of them talk, it's all.
If I could,
I get sharing from you, outside the scene, and also from Kasi outside the scene. I get a perspective of where it comes from. But it's right, though. It's great, Ranga. I mean, unless you can laugh about it, business is not going to be worthwhile. The whole idea is, you get your peaks and troughs. And the thing that narrows the gap is this thing called laughter and making it lighthearted, making sure you know how to connect and get the things going. Otherwise, you'll be pulling your hair out, like you said. You're lucky you got some hair on your head.
and still some black, like there.
Oh, you got some black hair, have you?
But I got to say this also. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm taking a little more time.
No
But
worries.
I can never forget this the analogy also, or this diagram. Like what David used to draw. Like you have a x-axis and a y-axis, and for the people who have, everybody's got problems. Okay, but when you are very small in business wise, or with your thinking wise, the ups and downs are very too many variations are there. But for the people who have gone beyond that, they also have variations, but it looks like a very smooth line. Like there are ups and downs, but it looks smooth. And David's one more this thing is, like the duck on the water, like it's just moving very smoothly, but inside it's paddling, it's paddling. So I can't forget these things.
Thank you,
If
Ranga.
I can, I'd like to add on to what Rangan has said about the entertainment, the media, and how when you were growing up, you wanted to be, in theater, acting, and all this stuff. I like to share a story too. When I was growing up, I wanted to be an actress.
Wow.
And but coming from the family background and our culture, we're all I'm in an educator family. So it's like always have to be school. We had to be doctors. We had to be lawyers or engineers.
Right.
So when I told my mom I was in high school, I go, Mom, I want to move to Hollywood and be an actress. She's like, no, you're not, because actresses and actors, they change partners like they change clothes, and I would not have my daughter like that.
Right.
So I had to lodge to my parents, wishes, and went the educational route. But now, now I'm connected with you. I would love to act. I would love to do my path.
Mamma mia, we got it, man. March it down.
Let's have a ball together. Come on, yes. We're going to do it. Yeah.
I might reschedule and come up to Houston, Texas myself in March, April.
Why don't you come too? We'll all have a ball together. Yeah. Sure. Why not?
It's so wonderful that you brought that up, and with the peaks and troughs that David was talking about. I find myself, if I take myself out of it and kind of look at the situation at a bird's view eye and look at a bigger picture, then those peaks and valleys are not that steep.
Right.
No.
True.
Exactly. True. When you put it in perspective, she's basically a straight line.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Moving on, let's look at another chapter. I want to now drill down to some basics. What's your typical day like as an entrepreneur? Either of you.
Okay.
My day starts out pretty early. I wake up and I do my morning prayers and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It runs from an hour to an hour and a half. And that is the key to having a good day.
Right.
Wow.
For me. Because it gives me clarity, it gives me peace, and it gives me that peace of mind. So when I go through my day, anything that comes up, I have the wisdom or the just the sight to see it and to solve the problem. So it starts with that, and then I'm very, very big on health. So I do my green smoothies. I do my oatmeal, for breakfast. So I'm very, very, I take care of myself, because no one will take care of myself the way I will. And then I just go to the office and I see about 15 to 18 patients a day in an 8-hour period. And I just serve. And in that time also, I have assistants and front desk, the receptionists, that we work together and build relationships together. So to me, my goal for the day is that what kind of connections am I making, and are those connections based on trust and respect? And it just goes around that. My main thing is connections. and I connect with my patients. I have patients for over 17 years that's still coming to my office. I see
Wow.
kids from 3 years old. Now they're graduating from college, having kids of their own.
Wow.
Wow.
That's fabulous.
pretty
That's fabulous. It's interesting you say 15 to 18 clients, patients. I was talking to a blind Supreme Court judge in the state of Michigan, actually. And Justin Bernstein, he's blind, and he spends close to 40 kilometers walking in the morning so he can attend to 25 of his weekly cases.
Oh, wow.
Amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
See how an entrepreneur would squeeze certain things into life to make it happen. You know, there's no handicap, so to speak. And the guy's blind. He's been blind from birth, basically, but he's able to alternate it. He can't read, so what he does, he needs to walk and listen to the tapes that his assistants have done. Like you with your 15 patients, you know, whatever it takes, do whatever it takes. That's what an entrepreneur would go for.
Well, you know, it's interesting you brought that up in regards to being blind. Sometimes that's an advantage because with our eyes, we get distracted. We get very distracted with everything that's going on around us, that we don't really focus on what is the task at hand and what needs to be done. So I think to me that might be an advantageous for that judge.
Yeah,
that's why we call them differently able.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
they are much more able than what we can.
Than we are.
They are much more focused.
And in addition to that, too, I talk about meditation. You know, in meditation, you do close your eyes and you close your senses to the environment, and you come inside.
Yes.
And that's where all the power, all the wisdom, and everything from source that comes out.
True, absolutely.
Fabulous. So true, so true. Pass the ball on to you, Ranga. Your daily routine.
Well, you know, like in Tamil, there is a saying called "Naaloru meni podudoru vannam." You know, every day is a different day, a new day, and look forward to every new day because something or the other keeps happening differently. You know, like these days, I've been doing a lot of composing for YouTube and doing a lot of shorts and all that. So normally what happens is, like when I'm doing my shorts or my videos and all that, it goes later into the night and early into the morning. Yesterday I slept around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, rather in the morning. Yeah, this morning I slept around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So, you know, like when you woke up, I just went to sleep, Kim.
That most definitely.
But you know, like but there is a every day we pause for meditation for 2 minutes at least, because that's the very sacred time for us. Like it's called the infinite minute, and it's between 11 and 11 9 and 11:10 to 11:12. So 11:11 exactly we get into silence, because it's supposed to be a very auspicious time for so many of us, we come together wherever we are, irrespective of wherever we are, we come together to meditate at that time. So we have a prayer, so we do that meditation also. And you know, when I'm at office, like I'm right now in my Giri office, and I normally come here around at there are days that I come early, and but normally when I'm here, you know, like there are a lot of office things that go on, and we have a typical routine of every Monday, all of us get together and we have the family business meeting and all that. So that keeps happening, and whenever I'm not there at the office here, I'm there at my studio recording something or the other. So it's like I am not at one place, fixed to one place every day. I just keep moving around. God's grace, you know, like that's what I've been doing.
Fabulous. With that to set your day, how do you fit in clients? How do you fit in the normal work routine? How do you fit in this little element that I'm going to bring in called can I, your continuous and never ending improvement? Do you think that's important?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
And what is it? And why?
Well, thanks to the system that we were introduced to, but there are several of the books that we continue to read, browse through, and also, it's gone into our system that some book or the other should be read every day. We should never leave that, and we continuously listen to people who are, who have achieved great things in our life. Today there is a huge we are all blessed with so much of information that's sometimes it becomes overload, but still we still have a lot of information and a lot of great people talking about great things. And we try to whenever we are traveling in the car, and whenever we are idling around, or whenever we are waiting for somebody to meet with, those are the times when we really listen to all these the great messages of great people. So the constant and never-ending improvement is a must in life, and I keep telling myself that, like with affirmations, and also tell all our people also. So every Monday we also have a learning session within our family. So every Monday between 9 and for an organization, from an organization perspective, we have for about half an hour, and then for the family also we have half an hour. So every Monday it's a compulsory thing. So everybody comes together come on a video conference call, and then we listen to whatever people have to say, and then we discuss about whatever we have learned. So that is very, very important. And of course, like we've all learned how to do it. So we've to keep a to-do list every day. Like even today, I have a to-do list, handy. Of course, it's there on the computer. If you just open my computer, you'll see to-do lists everywhere. See, there is one here. I'm just pulling one more here, so it's there in front of me. So out of sight, out of mind. So we got to continuously keep reminding as to what are the things that we need to do, what are really, really important to us. So it's constantly there, and of course we need reminders, and so it keeps helping us.
Do you know something? The people outside who sometimes aspire to wanting to become an entrepreneur see some entrepreneurs talk, and they say, "Wow, it makes it so easy." But actually, inside there is a lot. Like you say, the duck is paddling.
Exactly. It is really paddling hard. Everything is smooth. That's it. Like what Baba says, everything is smooth. But it's
I know, Ranga. I know. Kim, what about you, Kim? What about learning can I practices?
Oh my goodness, continuous and never-ending improvement. Life is continuous. We have to continue to evolve.
Right.
To be a better person, be a better spiritual person to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm always learning. I used to be a type of person that's very organized, and this has to happen at this certain time and time. I split up my day through time, but I've noticed now that if I give myself more flexibility, I open myself up to possibilities. So right. I do have, I don't like to call to-do list anymore, but I do have throughout the day, I said there's 5 things I need to do that day. And then, the rest, I'll leave it up to the universe to surprise me, be spontaneous. Yeah. And it has worked out for me to where I find time to read. I do read a lot, and that's how you learn. It's always continuous and never ending. We do have meetings for the office too. We do have meetings in regards to discussing strategies, what we need to do, how we need to take care of this one special patient, we would call them. We don't call them difficult, but we call them special patient. And, it's always a continuous learning, and it's really learning how to best serve and how to deal with different personalities, different backgrounds, cultural, everyone, and look at that one person individually instead of treating everyone like a cookie cutter. I don't do the same treatment, for two people the same. Everyone is different. So I have to find that freshness and creativity, and that's all due to continuous and never-ending improvement and learning.
Fantastic.
Fabulous. Role models. How did you find them to be part of your life? And which sectors of it do you use them for?
Oh, role models. I have a lot. As I was going through life, going through phases, I look back, when I was younger, I was into these boy bands because they were, I wish I was their girlfriend. And then as I grew older, then, there's these great educators or people who accomplished a lot through education. And I looked up to them. Oh, if I apply myself a little bit more, I'll have a doctorate degree or whatever it is. But now I look at this stage of my life, my role models has always is the spiritual leaders. I read a lot of books from Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. I'm reading The New Earth for the 4th time. It's about the ego and the real self. And now it's really my spiritual journey is going strong, and my spiritual leaders that I just love. And for business wise, I follow Mr. Napoleon Hill on the success of the laws of success and all the stuff. So so I noticed that as I go through different eras or different decades of my life, there's different role models that I look up to.
They have come into life for a purpose, and in that journey they're always there, coming in and moving out, and you find different come into your picture based on your need. And if you're in school, that's what happens.
Definitely. But that's the journey that I've learned, is that as you go through the journey, when you need something and you really need it, the universe will provide for you. That teacher, like there's a saying in Zen or Buddhist, when the student's ready, the teacher will show.
Arrives.
Yes.
It's never the other way around.
No.
Never the other way around.
And it's interesting. I don't know if you follow Abraham Hicks, either of you, Abraham and
I do.
Okay. Now that there is a thing that Estelle always talks about. It's ask and it shall be given. It's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, it's in the Gita, everywhere. But the key element is people do not know how to ask.
How to ask and how to be ready to receive.
To receive it.
That's a golden thing.
That's the goal, and you have to be ready to receive.
Absolutely. You got to be ready. Your antennas got to be up, like what you have. Like you got your antennas up.
That's why you be
all the time ready. All the
You're
time ready
two reindeer horns. Golly. Good. Now let's move up to the next area. How did you find moving on to an entrepreneur? The next segment we're going to do next week would cover business best practices. So let me open up that subject a little bit, getting into that and networking. Prior to that, what were some of the things that you had to put together in your own belief factor to start your entrepreneurial journey?
Just to touch on the previous point, David.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Role models.
I missed you on that. Yeah.
Sorry, David. I thought I'll just touch on a few points.
Yeah.
There is a very famous singer in Tamil called Pitupuli Murugadas, and he's sung a beautiful song. And in that he says, whatever you see in life or outside of you, everything is better in one way or the other. One way or the other, everything outside of you, you are good. Like no wonder you are good, but there is something always better than you outside. So there are so many people that from every moment we can learn from life. So there are so many gurus, unlimited, infinite number of gurus, or infinite number of sources from where we can learn and better ourselves. So there are no dearth of like role models in life. From everyone we can learn. Of course, to really name a few, like the great singers, S.P. Balasubramaniam sir, Mohammad Rafi Sahab, and Kishore Kumar Sahab, and K.J. Yeshudas, and there's so many singers. Being in the singing field, the amount of dedication and the number of songs that they have sung, and they must have also gone through all these turbulent things in life, but still they made it, and they made it really big. And the amount of hats they were wearing, like Kishore Kumar could sing, dance, act, produce, music director, and so many things. If you see those people, looks like haven't even started yet in life. So many things that they could juggle around with. So on the entertainment field, there are so many role models. On the like Mahatria, like David, like so many other people, Jim, Mitch, and there are so many people who are role models in the business world. And on the spiritual thing, again, there are so many great gurus like Mahapariva, the Kanchi Pariva, and so many other people. And the now living guru is our beloved Mahatria. So there's so many people as role models. So what was your next question, David? I'm sorry, I messed up on that.
That's okay.
I went into the role model thing, and
no, it's good that you came through. But when you set this role model, it's so powerful, because many of us don't understand the value, and very honestly, sometimes until you mentoring is a privilege. That's what I keep saying to people. So until you understand the concept of role modeling and to emulate somebody, it's a huge privilege for you to be able to do that. But the key element here, Ranga, is how much do you have to actually practice and watch them and get from them? As an example, you as a singer, if you wanted to understand Balasubramaniam, you would have had to listen to him. Example, how many times?
Oh yeah, you can't count the number of times.
No. We need to get the public to know that, because they think, it's very simple to role model. They don't realize it's thousands of times. Exactly.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the super singers, they were when S.P. Balasubramaniam sir himself was asking him, then he said, I must have heard your song at least 1,000 times, and I must have practiced at least 5,000 times to get what I'm singing right now.
Exactly.
So, and my guru, my Carnatic music guru, K.V. Narayan Swami sir, he used to say, if you can sing one varnam, it's a huge piece. So if you can sing one varnam to perfection in one lifetime, that'll be really good. You'll be okay. So the amount of hard work that goes into it. Today we had a classical concert in the morning from the US, and it was mind-blowing. The amount of practice and the amount of perfection that they could play with was unimaginable. So I can really imagine how much of hard work goes. And this boy, he goes, he gets only 1 hour or half an hour a day, and he sits and practices in that.
Right.
So, it's continuous. It's can I?
Exactly. So exactly. Mastery is not a one-time hit or miss type of a shot.
Definitely.
And until the individual and until people who are looking at becoming entrepreneurs. I mean, today I was talking in a couple of masterminds earlier in the day, and some of them are saying, I'll try. I just straight away close up and say, there's no such thing as try. I'm sorry.
When you're trying, you're saying no. It's not happening.
Right away, you might as well give it up.
You just do it. No trying.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And I hope those that are watching and those that want to actually aspire to something, step up in life, they need to start looking at some of this, and there is a thing. That's what Tony Robbins also keeps saying, until you can practice, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's vital for us to understand that principle. Moving on to the next element very quickly, and before we sort of wind down, what are some of the factors that you would need to look at when you set this business up? Did you then understand your belief was there for you to go ahead and do it, and you were able to venture into it? Or were you fearful? Level of anxiety was there? Tribulations of saying, will I do it? How will I do it? What's going to happen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Kim.
Yes, there were anxieties in starting a business, an office, but what you do is you learn first. So what I did was, when I graduated from school, I worked at a lot of different offices, and I learned the ropes. I learned what I liked and what I don't like. I take every bits and pieces, and I make my own little pie.
Right.
And what helps is that with banks and everything in getting loans, as a dentist, we have a very successful 98% chance of paying back our loans in starting a business.
Right.
So the money wasn't really a problem. Once I got the location, the money, and my ideas, my takeaways from 3 or 4 years. I was 4 years after school working at a lot of different offices. I think maybe 50 or close to 70 different offices.
Wow.
And I would just pick out what I want. Pick out, this is a great idea, that's not. So don't even look at it. So I focus my energy on what I want. And that has made successful a successful business sense, and a successful whatever I want is what I focus on. I don't focus on what I don't want, because the universe does not know the difference. When you say you don't want that, they will give it to you.
So true. Yeah. And you, Ranga?
Well, I can go on and on, but we've got to watch the time. So
I'm only going to give you 30 seconds or so to finish up on that area.
Yeah. So you cannot focus on what you don't want. You can always focus on only what you want. So it's like what I just second Kim's thoughts on that. You got to always focus on what exactly is that you want. If you can prioritize, these are the things that I want, then obviously the other things wither away. So
fabulous. Ranga and Kim, truly appreciate your time and in coming through and sharing your journey. I'm looking forward to next week, where our main thrust will be on business best practices, that both of you in your own industry, how you've acquired that, and what were some of the outcomes you got from applying some of those business practices, and also open up the subject of networking. How, having a portfolio of fairly good practice to network, and as you were talking about, Kim, finding your niche in the particular area with your clients, and obviously yourself, Ranga, and finding a network of people to help you. Hey guys, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming online. And Kim, I really love that Christmas attire you've got, green and red. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer has not come yet.
Reindeer, yes, I'm missing a red nose from Rudolph, but I appreciate you notice my festive attire. I want to be very festive for Christmas coming up.
I left it till the end. I didn't want to interrupt the start of the session.
Anyway, so in a couple of days it's Christmas, so Merry Christmas to both of you. And
thank you. And season's greetings to you, Ranga and Sushma and the kids. Yeah. Definitely. And yourself, Kim and Dom.
Thank you so much for having me. I do celebrate Christmas because my husband's Catholic, but I'm Buddhist. But so, whatever that's you have, I have fun. I'm all in it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Good. All
So
right, guys.
do you practice the chanting Buddham Sharanam Gacchami? You do that?
Yes, I do. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Oh,
beautiful.
wow. Okay. Actually, the first time I heard that was at Mahathir's session.
Program, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk
And-
about that also a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be vital to do that. Yeah, good.
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you so much again. Have a great
Thank you,
week.
everybody. Thank
Thank
you so
you
much.
so
Thank you,
much.
David. Thank you, Kim. It was absolutely fun. We'll meet again next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.